Hi guys, it's me, and we're back. It's Thursday evening, and I'm actually about to head out to go to my roommate. Before I moved, my old roommate Brittany is moving to Dallas this weekend to do TFA, Teach for America. So we are throwing her a surprise going away party, and she has no idea. She feels like she's been unloved with her going away. So we're about to head there, but I wanted to be able to record this video before I got back tonight and get it up tomorrow. So by the time she sees this tomorrow, then she will know what we had planned going all along. So I'm excited about that. I am excited for Memorial Day weekend. I hope you guys have just some time off to relax and to be and just enjoy friends and family in the extended weekend. And after this, the next semester starts for school. So I am soaking it up, that's for sure. We're gonna head to, I'm not getting on a plane, but we're gonna take a girls trip to Ocean City, Maryland. With 5 of us, or 4 of us, 5 of us. So 5 of us. And that's Saturday morning. So that's exciting. So I hope you guys are having fun plans too and gonna barbecue and grill out and all that good stuff. So today's video, I'm gonna try to keep it to only about 8 to 9 minutes. And you guys can give me some feedback on whether or not you think videos are too long. I just think that you probably lose an audience after so long. So I'll try not to chit chat with you guys for too long, but I think it's an important topic. I had a client email me about, essentially, without reading her entire email, how do you navigate sharing kind of what you believe in and sharing what you know about food freedom and how to nourish your body well and eating enough and all of those things and what you know to be true. How do you share that with maybe other women in your life who are on diets or who are practicing restrictive eating or who are habitual over-exercisers or whatever that might look like? How do you kind of bring some light to this area without offending anyone and without overstepping your boundaries? And so I think it's a good question. Her example specifically was just being in a situation where a friend and her husband were on kind of this health journey and were pretty restrictive with eating, so no sugar and no grains, and that goes for whatever food group you're going to try to rule out. And so, sorry guys, my tongue is a little bit pink. That's totally side note. I made a cake with hot pink frosting today and I had a few bites and it's totally hot pink, so ignore that. I'm just not noticing that as I'm making this video. But anyways, so I think that it's an important topic of how to navigate this because, one, not only is it important that you keep your head on straight and protect yourself from being persuaded or influenced by any belief that might lead you back into old behaviors or new behaviors of restrictive eating or over-exercising or whatever that might look like. And also, how do you refresh somebody else who may be in kind of a cycle or a pattern that is restrictive or that you might think isn't healthy and that you see might be detrimental to their health in the long term? And I think that this is such an important topic. And so a few things I think that we have to keep in mind as we navigate these kind of murky waters is, number one, I don't think that we should ever give unsolicited advice. So I don't think we should just speak into somebody's life without trying to understand them first. And I say that as a dietitian and just as a friend. I never, ever, ever, just spew out what I think about something with anyone related to food or even related to healthcare, unless it's just kind of an organic conversation going on. But I would never, start ranting to someone or even just talking about something without trying to understand and seek to know where they're coming from first. And I think that's important in order for someone to receive any sort of any message that you have to share. In order for them to be able to receive that well, they have to feel understood first. And so I think that before we do anything or before we even maybe tell someone what we think is to understand them. And so let's say that they're in a restrictive cycle of eating or they're over exercising or whatever. I think a question you can just ask is like, how's it going? How's it going? How do you feel? How has it been? And kind of just get their input. They might say, oh my gosh, it's going great and I feel so great and this is such a positive experience. And it might be right then, but it might turn into something that's not positive down the road, and then you can kind of check in with them. But they might say, they might just share. They might say this is, very stressful or this is socially isolating or whatever it might be. So I think you can just ask someone how they're doing, how they're liking it. And I think a good way to phrase it is like, hey, are you enjoying it? and just like in an interested tone. And that way you can kind of hear from them where they're at. From there, and based on their response, I think that's when you could perhaps, share a little bit. You might be able, I think the second step then is empathizing and saying, hey, I totally get where you're coming from. I'm sure that it feels really good to, nourish your body well if they're having a great time with it, or move again, or be active again. Or if they're saying if they are vulnerable with you and maybe saying it's not so great, even though they want to be doing it, or even though they've lost XYZ pounds, they're not feeling good physically, whatever that scenario might be, you can then again empathize too. Hey, I totally get it. Or try to understand them in some way and build some rapport. And so I think that after you try to understand them, you can also empathize with them. And then from there, I think you can probably shed a little bit of light on maybe what you think. But I think it's also important to first ask, just be like, hey, I've had some thoughts around what you've been doing, in terms of health, and I just want to know if you cared, if you listened, or if you cared for me to share. But I think in just a very casual way, but I think it's important for us to not only understand and then to empathize, but also even to ask people if they want to hear our advice. People might not. And if people aren't in a place where they want to hear what you have to say, then they're going to respond on the defense, and then nothing good actually ever happens. So people have to be in a place where they want to receive information, or where they want to receive a message. And so I think that's really important. And to kind of go along with that, I think that the most important thing we can do is just simply live by example. So, how we live our lives, how we approach food, how we navigate food, people take notice of things, especially in a culture where food comparison is a thing and food shaming is a thing, and people are always concerned with what somebody else is doing. People are going to notice if you have a healthy relationship with food, both emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially, all of those things. That's going to be noticed, and it's going to be refreshing for people. And who knows, maybe over time then they ask you a question of like, hey, how do you yada yada yada, even if it's something like, how do you stay skinny and eat that much? Even though that's a question that can be annoying at times, or maybe catch people off guard in the wrong way, that's still an entryway for you to kind of share a positive message. And so I think one of the best things we can do is simply live by example and live that out, and be confident in how we live our lives and how we approach food and how we move our bodies, and how we manage stress and how we kind of balance things in a very unperfect way. And I think that's relatable, and I think that that is one of the best things that we can do, is just lead by example, and people will take notice, and maybe they'll become curious and want to know a little bit more. But I do think that it's also important to understand people, to empathize with them, and to not just kind of throw unsolicited advice at them or our opinions at them when they might not be in a position to hear it. So I think those things are important. I hope that that's helpful, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I kept thinking about my pink tongue again. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy just the sunshine. It is hot here in the city. I think it was like 90 yesterday, and it's been in the 80s today. And I don't have central air conditioner in my apartment, so it's definitely a little warm. So I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and yeah, just enjoy being with the ones that you love. And of course, always eat something awesome. All right, bye guys. Take care.